Hi, I'm Surabhi from Heads Up for Tails. In this week's Learn with HUFT, I'm chatting with Bhavana, who has a bunch of questions for us. Bhavana has grown up around dogs her whole life, and so I'm really excited to chat with her and know what's on her mind.
Hi, Surabhi.
Hi.
Okay, so I have two Indies at home, Roscoe and Gia.
Okay.
And they often tend to not want to step out for a walk, which is troublesome, which is a problem because they need to go poo and wee and just get some outdoor time. What can I do to sort that out?
Yeah. And you mentioned they're Indies, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I think something to just sort of keep in mind is I think in general Indies can be very skittish and nervous and fearful. And it may not be necessarily true for all of them, but a lot of them display that trait. Is that true for your dogs?
Yeah. So one of them is a little skittish and the other one's a little calmer. But
yeah. So in for a lot of dogs, going outdoors can be really exciting. But for a lot of dogs, it can also be really overwhelming because there are so many different sounds and sights and smells and noises. And for some dogs, like it's just too much sensory load to take. And so we actually call that sensory overload for dogs. And so in dogs that have that, we see that there's a lot of resistance or unwillingness to sort of step out. So I think the first and foremost thing to sort of understand with Roscoe and Gia maybe would be that the outdoor experience that they're having is not as calm or as peaceful, which is why they may not necessarily want to engage with it.
So taking them out at a certain hour of the day might help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a couple of different things, right? I think that one is, especially when it comes to sort of relieving themselves, it might be worth considering to sort of set up somewhat of an indoor-outdoor toilet for them. So it could be, if you have access, let's say, to a little bit of a lawn in your house or even a terrace with a little bit of a mat, then you can sort of work with them to use that as and when they want to. So that way, at least we're relieving the pressure off of always going out, right? And, it's essentially they can go out whenever they want to go out, really. But I think that very much like you said, I think that picking the right time for a walk becomes really important. So if you're taking them out at a time when there's a lot of traffic, there are lots of other dogs walking, then that's just a very stressful experience, right? So you want to sort of change that around to say taking them out at a time that's much quieter, calmer, lesser distractions, lesser of that stimulation in the environment. So that's something definitely worth considering and sort of changing in their routine. And maybe another thing is consider also like the walk equipment that they're wearing.
Okay.
So for example, if they're walked on collars and they yanked and pulled, a lot of times that could lead to pain across the neck and the spine. And then every time they're walking and getting pulled, it's just sort of bringing that pain up, right? So
definitely a harness over a collar.
Exactly, yeah. And even with a harness, like making sure that it's a well-fitted harness as opposed to just a harness that's loose. But I think how you do the walks could also go a long way, because if there's a lot of yanking, pulling, a lot of, hey, don't go there, no opportunity to sniff, then we've just made this whole outdoor experience really stressful and unpleasant for them. And so if it's unpleasant, there's no motivation to really go out, right?
Do you think that since both dogs are very different personalities, do you think taking them for walks separately would help as well? Because say one wants to go on a sniffari, right? Just like this long, prolonged walk, just sniffing in corners, and the other one just wants to go for a quick round and then come back home.
Yeah.
Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Or would it be better that they as a pack go out together? I don't know if there's a right answer.
Yeah.
But
So you're saying all the things that is making my heart sing, which is why I'm smiling so wide. But absolutely, I think that with multi-dog households, I would definitely recommend that you take them separately, because both dogs will have very different needs of that outdoor environment, right? And so to just give you an example, I have two dogs at home, but they walk very differently. Yeah. So one of my dog walks super slow, wants to smell every plant, rock, rotten food on the road. The other dog is reactive and gets very easily stimulated by other dogs and sounds and noises, and she's always at a fast pace, right? And so if I walk them together, it's a frustrating walk for all three of us because I have one dog who wants to walk slow and another dog who is like just pulling me from the other end.
And the human who wants something else. And the human
who, exactly, right? And I'm just like, I don't know which way to go. And invariably when I'm on the road, I'm literally like this, right? Because both dogs need very different things. So I think, again, if you have the resource and if you can figure that out, I think to sort of just walk them separately, that's super helpful. And I think, like you said, right, not all dogs need to be walked for 30 minutes or longer than that. For one dog, it could just be, hey, I'm going to step out for 5 minutes, quickly sniff and come back. And for other dogs, it could be a little longer. So when we, I think, put the two dogs together, then we're not being able to meet either of their needs, right? It just becomes, a little bit of a stretch for one dog or underserving the needs for another dog, essentially. So, yeah,
that helps immensely.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we'll tackle our walks a little differently.
Yeah, and let me know how it works out.
I will, absolutely. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much. We're going to have many such conversations like these. If you have questions pertaining to your dogs, please feel free to send them in. You can drop your comments below, and we'll address those in the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching.